It's a story that continues to make headlines, the story of the seals versus people at the children's pool in La Jolla. For nearly 20 years, seals have made their home on the beach there, to the delight of many people who flock to see them. But in 2005, a judge ruled that the city of San Diego must restore the beach to its 1941 condition, when the Clean Cove was a favorite swimming area for children. This ruling meant the seals had to go, but appeals, lawsuits, and restraining orders followed, and then this week Governor Schwarzenegger got involved. Here to help us understand why this saga continues to captivate our attention is KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr. Katie, thanks for coming back. Okay, on Monday the governor signed a new law which directly impacts the case. So what will the new law do, and when will it go into effect?
Well, the new law puts control over the beach into the hands of the city council. It amended the trust that concerns the cove to let the council decide the best use for that beach. So it goes into effect January 1st, and at that time, the council can leave the beach as it is, which is technically dual use right now. You don't get in trouble for going into the water there. They could make it a marine sanctuary and say this is just for the seals, or they could say seals get out of here, this is for people, although I don't think it's likely that that will happen.
Okay, so this has been a busy week regarding the whole case, because yesterday a Superior Court judge, his name is Yuri Hoffman, he set aside his order to scare away the seals from the beach using barking dog recordings. Why did he do this after declaring that, and he put that order on hold yesterday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, now why did he do this, declaring that the city must comply with his order to get rid of the seals and then put the whole thing on hold?
Well, he had made his ruling on Monday before the governor signed this bill into law. So at that point, he couldn't consider the bill because it wasn't in action yet. So he had to make his decision based on what the law was at that moment. And at the hearing, he said, well, this law is in effect now. It might, in fact, vacate the original 2005 order that said the beach had to go back to the 1941 conditions. And so we are going to consider that question on October 6th. And until that point, he said everything sort of stays the way it is, status quo, until they can talk about that.
Well, that's the part I don't understand. He's called for this other hearing on October 6th. But the law goes into effect in January. What's the point of the hearing?
Well, the point is to see if they vacate that original ruling, then the city doesn't have to go ahead with its plan to clear the seals. Now, if they decide, no, that ruling still stands, I mean, the city might have to go about clearing the seals until January when the law goes into effect and do it anyway, or they might, there was some question over the plaintiff's attorney in the 2005 case questioned whether the state law was even legal, because he was saying, the Marine Mammal Protection Act is a federal law and the state can't make a law that interferes with that. So there's a lot of questions that they have to sort out at that hearing.
What a cast of characters. We have a state court, we have a federal court, we have the state of California, we have the city of San Diego, all involved in this issue. Who actually has the jurisdiction over the issue?
Well, they're hoping in January that the city council will have jurisdiction. It's a state beach. The state owns the beaches, but it's just been ping-ponging back and forth in court, and a federal court will tell the city to do something, and then the state court will tell the city to do something. And so that's the whole point of this new law, to sort of just put an end to this and say the city council has control and they are the ones that get to decide what happens.
And meanwhile, this has cost the city something like $1 million in legal fees.
Yeah, it's not been cheap, and that's one of the reasons why they the city council actually asked for the state legislature to consider this law, because they don't want to spend any more money on this. And as we heard earlier, the city is already cut $170 million from its budget. It might have to cut up to another $100 million more because of the state budget problems. It doesn't want to spend the money on shooing seals away from the beach, which people say is kind of a futile effort anyway. You'd have to do it constantly for the seals to stay away, and it's a lot of money.
Well, thank you very much, Katie Orr.
Thank you.